A multiple choice referendum, what is that?
Joe, we made actually about 3 or 4 proposals.
We have time for them.
Yeah, so one, we said that we need to relook at some items of the content. For example, yes.
With respect, I'll get to the content.
Yes. So you want me to process?
Yes.
Okay. We believe that it is possible to have a structured referendum which gives Kenyans an opportunity to vote for different sectors and different articles independently. When we say that, we know that, for example, we are going to touch on largely about 6 areas. And these 6 areas, Kenyans can express their view independently of one area to the other. And there is value in us giving Kenyans that opportunity, because there is a tendency for those of us who are leaders to take ordinary people for granted, that they don't know, that it's too complex. And you can even see that thread of us trying to take advantage of ordinary people.
So you're saying there should be separate questions for
even in this whole process, you know, even when we are giving out, if you ask today, how many Kenyans have read the text of BBI? Very few. But we are rushing them because, in our opinion, what they think doesn't matter, right? And you know, we have to change the whole paradigm on how we take the people of Kenya.
I understand
and that is why.
So let's talk about this.
That's why you see that even in the text of this constitution this time round, we have actually put there, thanks to push from all sectors, Article 11A, that even speaks to the business of ordinary people, which has never been in the constitution, because we need to have a whole paradigm shift on how we view the people we lead. And we must accept that their views, their concerns, their ideas, their proposals also matter.
And, so and they're the people we're talking about.
That's why I'm saying, this time, what we are saying, instead of confronting Kenyans with say yes or no, we have Kenyans who have no issue, for example, with 35% going to counties, but they have an issue on, say, the ombudsman with the judiciary. Why would we force citizens to say, if you are voting for 35% going to counties, then you must vote for everything else that is there.
But Dr. Ruto, you know that at some point a choice has to be made, because look, for example, each of those articles that you talk about would also have sub-articles. For example, I'm thinking about, say, Article 151 on the office of the Prime Minister, for example. So what if I like sub-article 2A, which gives the Prime Minister power, for example, to lead government business in the National Assembly, but H, which talks about supervising government business, I don't would you say now we need to have another question on the A and the H?
You are not a legal expert, Joe. That's why you're talking that way.
Can you imagine what the other
people... No, let me just help you. Experts can be able to package the sections that go together. And this is not something we are doing for the first time in Kenya, for your information. Many countries, let me tell you, next week, Liberia, which is a Commonwealth country like us, is going to vote on a multiple choice referendum with 3 different issues, and the Supreme Court in Liberia identifies that you can vote for them independently. New Zealand, which is also another Commonwealth country, has voted on a referendum with 7 issues. Switzerland, Peru, Ecuador, name it, even in the US, even in the election that just took place. So what I'm saying is, presenting a multiple choice referendum is actually giving the Kenyan people the latitude to make a decision on an article by article basis. It is actually the best way we should fashion our referendum. And for your information,
let's just be practical.
Allow me
we are
to
in
make,
Kenya. Just be practical.
Allow me to make this. For your information, our parliament is already fashioning the referendum bill that gives a possibility of us going to a referendum with options.
Yes,
so it is not something far-fetched.
Well, it has not passed. It is not a law yet. But let's get back to this multiple choice referendum thing that you're talking about. So you want us to go to the election and do the referendum at the same time, and you're saying that in addition to the 6 questions that we usually, take, we add another 7, 6 or 7, which may have some sub-articles, even though you say they'll be grouped in whichever way, and you're saying that we have to vote on all of these things and get them all right. Isn't that just another way of saying no to this thing?
It is not. In fact, you're being simplistic.
No,
Joe.
I am not.
You are actually thinking of how not to do it.
The IEBC. I interviewed the former IEBC chair, Ahmed Isaac Hassan, and he told me that his best recommendation would have been for us to even stagger the 6 that we already have, because it is too much. It is too much work. The electoral officials get exhausted and that sort of thing. And so he said that the best thing would be for us to not do the 6 together. Now you are here saying that we should in fact add 7 other things that people are supposed to do.
Let me tell you, Joe. You are convoluting the two because you want to make it look like it's not possible. But let me help you.
You're the one who said they should be done together.
Let me help you. Can we speak first about a multi-choice referendum before you convolute it with a general election? Can we start there?
I didn't mix them.
No,
you did.
No, you just mixed it here.
No, yesterday you said they should be done together.
You want to confuse the public. You want to confuse the public because you want to show the public how it's not possible. But let me tell you, it is that same mentality that you have is what is informing the distaste and the taking for granted of Kenyans, because there is this perception, there is this narrative that Kenyans are unintelligent. You know, they cannot make these choices. My friend, we go to an election, Joe. Kenyans are voting for 6 different positions. MCA, 10 candidates. Women rep, 15 candidates. The next, 20 candidates. But Kenyans are still able to choose. Sometimes the president of a different party, governor of a different party, senator of an independent party, they are still able to choose. And they are choosing from 100 people. You want to tell me that we will go to a referendum with 6 items and this Kenyan will get so confused. No, he will not know the difference between, do you want ombudsman in the judiciary? He gets confused. Do you want 35% to be resources to be transferred to the county? You know, it is this same thing that we keep underestimating the intelligence of Kenyans and thinking that they are fools, so they will not be able to do this. My friend, I want to tell you, if there is one politician who understands the grassroots and who goes and has visited many parts of Kenya, Kenyans are not what you sometimes imagine that they are. They know what they want.
You say that politician would be you, but anyway, let's assume that what you're saying were possible. The Secretariat of the BBI says as of yesterday, they had collected 4 million signatures. And in fact, today, they said that the process had actually been completed. So are you saying, and those signatures, by the way, were collected on the basis of the bill that is there now, as is. Are you saying tonight, is it your position today that they should throw away all those signatures and restart this process together?
Not at all.
So that they can satisfy what you want?
Not at all. It is possible, Joe, before the referendum question is presented to IEBC, it is possible to make those changes. changes.
But the people,
and I'm talking about
the people who signed, I am sure you did not,
relax.
but the people who signed on the basis of the one bill.
You know, in fact, you are confusing this. We are talking process. When the people signed, they signed for the content, right? But they didn't sign to say they are going to vote yes or no. They signed knowing this referendum has these issues.
And they signed for the bill.
Yeah, they signed for the bill, no problem.
Yeah.
They signed for the bill. But if we structure the referendum such that out of the bill we have 6 different questions, that is what they signed for. Then they will go before a ballot box. They have this ballot paper. Item number 1, do you want 35% transfer to counties? Yes. Item number 2, do you want the judiciary to have an ombudsman? Yes. Item number 3, do you want 47 women and you want a prime minister? Talk generally about the legislature. Do you want the changes that have been made in the legislature? Yes. Do you want the changes that have been made in the executive? Yes. What is so difficult with that, Joe? What is so difficult with that?
Now, they have said they are going on. What are you going to do?
There is no problem. I mean, they should go on. The collection of signatures is the easy part, you know. 2 things are possible, Joe, and this is important for Kenyans to understand. The proposals we are making, for example, on content, on number 1, we believe that to remove the discomfort of the judiciary on the appointment of the ombudsman, and there is absolutely, even the judiciary is not refusing accountability. And we all believe that every arm of government must be held to account. But they are saying they do not want a situation where it looks like...
Who are they telling? You?
Didn't you see they made a communication? Didn't you see? So I'm
finding it very strange that you are speaking for the judiciary.
I am not speaking for the judiciary.
There are a lot of people
the judiciary
who would find that uncharacteristic, considering that some people...
is a Kenyan institution.
Yeah.
Right? It's a Kenyan institution. Joe,
which you one day, I know. 3 years ago, you referred to them as Wakora, Bwana DPU. Why would someone be surprised today that you are such a chief defender of the judiciary?
That's the difference maybe between me and you. I don't hold grudges. Yeah? If I disagree with you today, it doesn't mean I will disagree with you tomorrow. That is that's how life is, you know. And if you wrong me today, I will tell you have wronged me. But that does not mean we become enemies.
The
fact that we took issue with the decision of the judiciary that time did not mean that we hate the judiciary. You know, we just took issue with what they did. But that does not mean
Wakora doesn't sound like taking issue. Wakora sounds like going to the root of the ability and the independence of that court to make a decision such as nullifying the election, which was nullified.
In fact, I never used the word Wakora.
You did, and actually in Mudhurwa, you said that the judiciary should know that they do not elect the president.
Absolutely, I said that.
The people do.
Absolutely.
That was meant to say that the judiciary had, by so nullifying your election, purported to be electing the president. Isn't that interfering with the independence?
But that is my opinion.
Which you are now saying here.
That is my opinion.
That
we are not talking here. We are talking about writing the constitution. When you are discussing writing the constitution, everybody,
it's your motive people are questioning.
Myself.
It's your motive people are questioning. That's why they're saying this is a disguised way of rejecting this.
My friend Joe, you know, what you are doing is you're saying if you have an issue with the judiciary because of a decision they make, that means the judiciary becomes your enemy. Far from it. In fact, let me tell you one thing, Joe. When I first was elected a member of parliament in 1997, Paul Muite told me, as a new member of parliament, he told me, young man, I can see you are a very enthusiastic supporter of Kanu. But let me tell you, the best way to support a government is to criticize it when it goes wrong. Right? The fact that we criticize the judiciary when they do something we do not think they have done right does not mean we hate the judiciary. In fact, we support the judiciary. And we want to tell them so that if they have done something wrong, they should correct. So I am perfectly in order today to say an independent judiciary is good for me whether I'm in government or in the opposition. And that is why I'm saying the issue of the independence of the judiciary, the issue of we have suggested, for example, in terms of the content, we have said the current BBI proposal as it is, we have 47 elected women in the Senate. We have removed the women who are elected in the National Assembly. We will have a nomination of close to 100 members of parliament, members of parliament in the National Assembly who are women. We are saying, instead of nominating a whole 100 women into the National Assembly, why don't we bring back the women reps? Because the principle of democracy, again, is not for me as a party leader or the next person. It is for the people to elect. As much as possible, women representation, or in fact, any representation should be a product of people electing and less about nomination. So we are saying that yes, we should have 47 women elected in the Senate, 47 women elected in the National Assembly, and then we can now discuss nominations which should be lower than 50, so that we, as much as possible, representation is by people's election. And I am sure the BBI Secretariat and everybody knows that that is reasonable. And
so,
in any case,
so tonight,
it is good for women to be elected more than to be nominated.
Yet you're saying tonight that those women, whatever number of seats they will have in parliament, they should wait until the next election to get those benefits. Because if we do the referendum together with the elections, it means that, one, the Article 81 will not be resolved, because chances are we will still elect what Justice Maraga called in his opinion an unconstitutional parliament. So you're saying all these benefits that you think can accrue from BBI should wait for a certain time post 2022, maybe even 2027, because how do you remake the composition of parliament midstream after the election in 2022?
Let me tell you, Joe, there is no crisis about changing the constitution. We can resolve the women issue even if we don't go to a referendum, right? So the fact that we are going to a referendum means we can carry everything to a referendum. And for your information, we are saying there are legitimate reasons why we need to think and we need to consider whether it is time to hold the referendum now or we hold the referendum with the election in 2022. Let me ask you,
You've
Joe.
taken a good position already.
Let me ask you, Joe.
You've taken a solid,
are you telling me
you've taken a position already, haven't
no,
you?
are you telling me you are not aware that we have a pandemic in Kenya? That there are people who cannot put food on the table.
We've had it for the whole year, DP.
No, it's okay.
It's not just come now.
But you know, you cannot say we've had it for a whole year.
And you have had many rallies out there during the pandemic.
Are you then saying, let the people die anyway because others have died?
No, I'm saying you have also held rallies out there during a pandemic.
That would be heartless. We've had to stop. We have had to stop. And for your information, Joe, I mean, please, be a bit human. In this country, we have today, on average, one Kenyan is dying every hour from corona. I have just told you the situation I was faced with today. Today, I was in Kijabe because we were launching an ICU facility, again, to support the whole process of ensuring that there are adequate facilities to treat this serious pandemic. There are Kenyans today who have lost loved ones. There are people in hospital, they cannot pay bills. There is a serious financial problem in Kenya. You heard the minister. And
you say that the referendum is the only thing that can stop us from dealing with COVID.
Just hold on. We have a financial situation in the country. Today, as we talk, we have to engage the IMF to reschedule our debts. The Minister for Finance was in Parliament yesterday saying exactly that. We have serious issues about how we are going to pay for hospital bills. We are going to have a meeting tomorrow with governors to discuss with them how to further our interventions on matters to do with corona. Our children are supposed to go to school in the next 1 month. We are discussing about how to buy desks, how to make sure that there are enough they should make sure that there are enough physical facilities, how they are going to have masks. Are you telling me, Joe, that with all this that is here, you do not find any merit that we can have this referendum in 2022 to save? It will cost us 14 billion in April next year, and another 40 billion a year later to do all this. I mean, surely, in a situation where the country is in a financial crisis, we are in a serious pandemic, Kenyans are asking themselves, as we talk today, doctors have threatened to strike from Monday. Why? They don't have PPEs. They don't have protective gear. Many 35 health professionals have died. 12 specialist doctors have died. Surely, Kenyans are asking themselves, are we mad?
My question to you, Bwana DP, I hear you about the pandemic. It's been there.
And it's not my creation, it's a reality.
Exactly. So many people, of course, have asked whether other things have stopped because of the pandemic. Many people have
Many things have stopped.
Many people have also asked whether, in fact, we haven't lost more than 14 billion in very unnecessary causes, people stealing, and that's during this government that you're part of. Yeah. But the question I'm asking now, if they go ahead with the referendum during a pandemic, are you going to oppose the referendum?
Joe, let's not also be simplistic. The position I have taken that a referendum is possible, a win-win outcome is feasible. I have taken that position out of knowledge. And let me give you 2 reasons why I insist that we shouldn't have a divisive referendum. I participated in the referendum in 2005. I participated in the referendum in 2010. In 2005, we had a seriously divisive referendum, which led to a divisive election, and we had disastrous consequences. As a responsible Kenyan, I do not want us to travel that road again. Number 2, as I sit here, I am the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. My boss, the President of Kenya, Article 131 of the Constitution, is the symbol of the unity of this nation. I'm his deputy. I have a duty to do everything in my power to make sure that where there exists a chance for Kenyans to travel together, we must travel that route.
Are you asking him that? Are you telling him that?
I believe that there is a chance for us to have a non-contested referendum.
Are you telling your boss that?
Or a non-divisive referendum. What I talk with my boss, Joe, is not for us to discuss here. You know, that's a really...
To the extent that both of you right now, as you say, the president is a symbol of national unity, not the unity of the two of you, but
no, it's the national unity. I'm talking about the country.
National unity, exactly. Yeah.
So it is what I'm telling you, I do not have the luxury which others have. The president and I do not have the luxury to run a process that has the potential of threatening the unity of the country. And let me tell you my position. Whether we have a referendum or not, whether the referendum succeeds or not, is not as important to me as keeping the country united. I think, to me, I place greater premium in making sure that this country stays united. And if it gets to a place where the option is to divide the country or to step back, I will step back.
That means you'll not take part at all.
No, I'm just saying, you know, I do not think we have gotten there. But my position is the following, that we should not, I will not participate as William Ruto in anything that divides the people of Kenya. I know better that there is a way. And that is why I am proposing, let us have a multi-choice referendum. What will that do, Joe? It will remove this thing of yes block and no block. We will all be yes and no, and there will be no need for all this contest, because there are people.
Does it bother you?
Strongly believe that, you know, we should have no and yes, so that we can have a competition, so that we can carry this competition to 2022. You know, that's very.
Does it bother you,
selfish.
Does it bother you that the president doesn't seem to share this concern about national unity in the manner that you frame it right now?
I can tell you, President Uhuru, apart from being my boss, is my friend. He shares, and these are issues me and him have discussed.
Does it bother you, therefore, that in spite of those discussions, he's going ahead and promoting the BBI as is now, in the midst of the pandemic, and promoting a referendum before the election?
Let me tell you, Joe, these are discussions, especially on the matter of holding the country together. I can tell you without fear of contradiction and without a doubt that President Kenyatta shares that position with me. We have discussed that whatever it takes, in whatever format, we must not allow a divided country. Me and him have suffered as a result of a divisive process. We are not fools to travel that journey again, that road again. And therefore, I will do anything possible to push for us to have a consensus, so that we can go and make choices in a referendum, whether we do it before the election or whether we do it with the election, that give Kenyans the options to choose what they want, without the yes or no, win, lose, all or nothing.
So your condition
situation.
for
I have no conditions.
You have no conditions.
I have no conditions.
Okay, we're going to talk. We're going to talk about that in a short while, but we have to take a break. We'll be right back with the last part of our interview with the DP.